Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Warm-up exercise based on listening and speaking skills. What you have to do here? You are supposed to get into groups of 10 and you have to play a game called telephone. Clear? This is the group activity. You all have to be a part of the class. You have to play it with your peer students with the help of the teacher. Form a line where the first person whispers a message to the ear of the next. So you simply have to stand in a queue you have to stand. And one student is going to say something in the ear of the another one. And so on until the last player is reached who repeats the message aloud. Now, this way you are passing the message and this last person, after listening to that, is going to repeat here. Is going to repeat very loudly, in a very louder manner. The last person has to, or last student has to repeat that. The first person then say the original message aloud. So, at the end, original message also will be repeated by the first person who actually started passing that information or the particular word. Clear? So, that is going to be very interesting exercise, the warm-up exercise, which is going to help you that somewhere while we are listening to when somebody is speaking, we are not paying attention. And you will see that when you are doing this activity, something else was said by the first student, and when it reached to the last one, it was totally different. It's a very funny activity and hopefully you all are going to enjoy it. Clear? So, that was your telephone activity. Now we are moving to the next one. Discuss in your group the differences between the message said at the beginning and the one heard in the end. So now, when you are done with this activity, now you have to do the discussion, because here we are talking about the speaking skills also. So what is required? Listening is done based on your telephone activity. Now speaking activity we are going to continue, where you have to discuss that what was the message given in the beginning and what reached at the end. Make a list of possible reason for the message changing. So what is required on your part? You need to prepare list of reasons that if something else was conveyed to the other person or to the last person, so what could be the different reasons for that? What were the different distraction element involved in that? Was the sound was there or something else was there? The person who heard that was not able to take it properly, or the one who started passing the information was not clear about his or her idea. So all these points are you are going to include in the given activity, given warm-up activity. Clear? Now we are moving to the listening part of this unit 1. In this Let's Learn Listening, the process of listening involves 5 steps. So that activity was conducted and now we are going to learn about that what actually listening activity is. It is not simply somebody is speaking and you are listening. No, it's a proper process. So many things are involved in that and we need to pay attention over there only. So process of listening, if we talk about it, it includes 5 steps. What are these? Receiving, understanding, evaluating, remembering and responding. So when somebody is there speaking to you here and you are here listening to that person. So at that time, what you are going to receive, what you are going to understand and what you are going to evaluate out of them, how much you are able to remember and how you are responding back to the first person. All these are the parts of your process of listening skills. Here, these are very important and somewhere we are lagging in these, somewhere we are lacking in these understanding in all these steps of listening, and that's why when the teacher is saying something in the classroom, just take the example of that. If the teacher is saying something in the classroom and many of the students you might have seen, they are physically present in the class but not mentally. So sometimes they are not able to understand that what actually teacher was saying. They try to evaluate the things on their own. They try to recall whatever they heard, but somewhere the lack of knowledge is there. The lack of listening, we can say, is here. Lack of attention or the focus is the reason that why they are not able to understand the things. Active listening, if we talk about, is the action of providing feedback on the basis of what one hears. Because if somebody is asking you, if your parents are telling you something, and the way you are responding shows that how much you are able to understand. Were you attentive at the time? Were you listening properly or not? So your response is going to be the outcome of your listening skills, whether you understood or not. Example they have given here, a student taking notes during a lecture and asking a question is an active listener. See, simply in your class, if a lecture is going on, teacher is dictating something or explaining something, nobody is responding. No, all are sitting quietly. But if somebody is asking the questions out of that or doing the interrogations based on the lecture given by the teacher, it shows that particular student is an active learner. Reason? Because when he or she is able to listen, he or she is able to evaluate the thing, able to understand or comprehend the thing, then only they are able to ask their queries related to that. Because it happens when the teacher is giving the lecture, everyone is listening, sitting quietly. Sometimes it happens when you are not paying attention. And that is the reason that you don't have any query at that time. But when you are listening, understanding, evaluating, and then queries will come to your mind. And then you are able to ask to your teacher. So this was the one of the example given here of active listeners. Clear? Now we are going to discuss about the different types of listening strategies that are used by the learner to respond. So we have to understand that listening is also a skill. It is not simply listening to someone or hearing someone. No, it's also required whole process and it is a skill. So different strategies as we have followed in reading, in writing. So here also we have to follow the different strategies while we are talking about the listening skills. So let's start with the one. The first one they have taken listening for the main idea. When you are listening to someone, when you are hearing someone, those who are speaking in front of you, so you have to keep your main focus that what is the main idea of that listening. If somebody is standing in front of you and giving speech or reading an article, so at that time it is quite difficult to keep your focus. Even in the classroom it happens now that when the teacher is giving the lecture, for some time we are there, we are attached with the content, but after some time our mind started moving here and there, means not physically but mentally we start roaming around somewhere else. So this is very obvious thing, and that is why these kind of things are happening, because of lack of focus, lack of concentration. That's why we are not able to bound ourselves to that particular atmosphere. That's why again and again, due to lack of focus, we are moving out from that, and again we have to pull our brain to that particular environment that yes, we have to listen to the teacher, then only we'll understand. So these are the very common things which is happening with most of the students. Clear? But obviously these are the skills that definitely we can improve if we really want to, if we are doing some practice and putting some efforts in that. So listening for the main idea. Here, grasping the general idea, often in order to predict or evaluate. So here what we have to do, we have to do the grasping, means we need to comprehend the thing, that what is going to be the main idea, so that we can predict or evaluate the things being asked to us. If somebody is telling us something, or simply just take the example, if somebody is asking what is your name, and if after listening you are not able to understand that what he or she asked, or you are not able to evaluate how you would be able to respond. So when somebody is speaking something, you have to keep your focus name, okay, and what it means, somebody is asking your name, then only you are going to respond. Clear? Now we are moving to the second strategy of this listening skills. The second one is listening for detail. When we are listening for specific information that is required. So, if any of the topic teacher is explaining to you, you have to firstly understand that what topic is going on. So, the main idea you will get to know about that. Secondly, you have to listen it for details because explanation of that topic is required. For example, just now if I am speaking in front of you, you have to keep your focus with that what I am speaking about what and what you are going to understand out of that. If you are not going to concentrate, nothing will be clear and many of the important points you will miss. Clear? So, this is also the strategy which is required or which is included in listening skills. You have to listen for getting the specific information out of the given data. So, you need to listen for details also. The next one is listening for sequence. Trying to understand the sequence of the steps in a set of instructions of direction. For example, if you are going through the instructions for preparing a tea, clear? Instructions are given. So, you have to keep in your mind that what is going to be the proper sequence of that. It should not be like that you are pouring the tea in a cup first and then you are starting with the rest of the process. No. The proper sequence you have to follow from beginning till end. So, whenever you are listening, whatever the article or the speech you are listening or you are listening to someone, just keep in your mind that you are able to connect the logical sequencing of that. That sequencing you must be knowing. Clear? Now, the fourth one, if we talk about listening for specific vocabulary. Vocabulary means the new words it can include or the different words. Clear? Deducing or inferring the meaning of unknown words. And here, many times it will happen that when you are listening to someone, you are not able to understand the meaning of the words. Clear? So, the different specific vocabulary strategy that we have already discussed, you have to use that here. So, you have to try to infer or deduce or get the meaning out of the given content to you or given speech to you. Out of that, you have to try to grab the meaning that what could be the meaning of that. Clear? Listening for opinion is the next strategy that we can discuss here. Means listening for opinion means how you are going to respond. If you are listening to someone, if you are listening to something, what is going to be your response or reaction to the particular thing. So, listening to identify how the speaker really feels and you have to prepare your opinion. You have to frame or you have to form your opinion based on that. You should be able to form your opinion that what are the feelings of the speaker. If the speaker is sharing his or her experience with the readers or his or her experience with the listeners, that what are the feelings of the speaker. So, you should be ready to frame or ready to form your own opinion based on that listening. So, hopefully all these techniques or the strategies we have discussed here based on your listening skills are clear to each and everyone. Now, based on that, we are going to take one exercise. So, let's move to that. Okay. So, this is let's practice listening. Your teacher is going to read out the content in front of you. That listening skill activity you must be knowing. That is an important part of your literature. So, the teacher will read out. You all have to listen to her carefully. You all have to listen to her or him carefully. You need to grab the main idea. You need to grab the relevant or the specific information given in that, whatever the teacher is going to read. Here you can see that based on that reading, you have to fill the table of information. The information that you are going to grab from your teacher, you have to fill in this. So, what you have to keep focus on, the headings, we can say the 3 columns they have given here. Name of the achiever, sport. So, here you are getting the idea. That's why I am telling you before proceeding, just have looked at these questions also, so that you can get the idea where you have to keep your focus. When you are listening to your teacher, You should be knowing that you should know the name of the different person, then what sports they are involved in, and what were their achievement. These three categories are there, and mainly you just have to keep focus over there. For example, in the first one, that after based on this listening and after the reading of the content by your teacher, you will fill it. For example, the first one we can say the name of the achiever. You will mention here Chekrovelu. Full name you will mention here. Archery is already written, and what was the achievement here? We can mention that here. That was the first Naga Olympian. Based on your listening, you are filling all these details. Clear? In the second one, the second gap they have given, so we have to mention the name of the second person here, the second achiever, Canilino, that is Canilino Nakru, the full name you can mention here, and the name of the sports you will mention, Spectatro. The name of the game you will mention, and achievement they have already mentioned, that bronze at the National Spectacle. So from here also you are getting the hint. This is the hint that can be used for the next column, the previous column. Now, Hokkaido is going to be the third achiever. You can mention here a name because it is related to C. Another hint is given within the table only Naga first class cricketer, so it is related to cricket only. Then Mugato Sumi, if we talk about the fourth achiever is already mentioned, we simply have to find out the sport and the achievement. So here football, and what is going to be the achievement? You have to mention that led Nagaland team to victory at the Subrata Mukherjee Cup. So in this way you are going to fill your information in the given table based on the listening part of your teaching. Clear? Next, the another exercise based on the listening skills only. You have to listen to your teacher again. The content she will read out. Then take the correct option to complete the sentences, and based on that listening, you simply have to match or simply have to choose the appropriate option out of these given MCQs. Clear? So, Alan Bronmey is. So, when the teacher will read out, you have to find out that the answer is going to be a journalist with the team. So, that will be the appropriate answer for that. Then, the purpose of the interview is. Based on that listening, you have to choose the correct or the appropriate option for the second one also. So, that is the purpose. So, the purpose of interview is to, the correct answer will be get information to write an article on nature clubs. The another one they have given every Tuesday after school. So, out of these three, you have to select the appropriate option. That is going to be option B, the members of the nature club meet. And see, before listening to the teacher, the questions will be given to you. So, you just have to keep focus on the question. No need to write down, no need to read the options, because it is going, if you will read the options before that, it is going to make you confused. So, what you have to do, you simply have to read the question and then you have to focus on the appropriate answer given here. The question number 4, they have given the green drive is. So, for that the answer will be option B. The green drive is, that is a set of activities planned by the nature club. That is going to be your answer for question number 4. Now, question number 5, the purpose of a nature club is. So, we have to keep focus that what is the purpose of the nature club that teacher has mentioned. Clear? So, appropriate answer for that will be option C, to spread awareness about the environment. So, hopefully it is clear that after listening to your teacher and different strategies you have to keep in your mind, then only it will be easy for you all to comprehend it or to infer the meaning out of that and keep your focus on that. concentration is required, because when the teacher will speak, so many things will come to your mind that will take you to somewhere else. But you have to keep your focus within the activity. Clear? And then it will be easy for you to choose or to mark the appropriate or the correct option given to you. Now the next activity they have given, that is listen to your teacher and write your responses. So after listening to your teacher, you have to write your responses here. You may be required to make inferences, deductions or predictions. So it's up to you that what kind of things you are going to use here. Whether it is going to be based on the inferences that you are making out of the listening, or some deductions you are going to do, or some prediction that you are going to predict something from your side you would like to mention here. So all these things will be mentioned based on the listening activity by your teacher. Now the next part of this unit we are going to take, that is based on your speaking. Clear? When speaking, these are some of the sub skills that the learner should focus on, because speaking is also a skill. You cannot read out all the things in the same manner. No, different strategies are required while you are reading a news, while you are reading an article of, if you are giving a speech, the different voice modulations will be used and the different pitch you have to use there. Clear? Now the strategies or sub skills we are going to discuss here. The first one, using appropriate vocabulary. We have to use the appropriate vocabulary whenever we are speaking. The vocabulary we talk about must be understandable. It should not be too much difficult for the listeners. Clear? Using words in the correct order. Whatever the words we are using must be in the appropriate or in the correct order. Pronouncing words correctly and accurately. This is one of the another important point, that whenever you are doing speaking work, at that time you need to keep your focus on the pronunciation. And the way you are doing the pronunciation or the words you are speaking is going to create the difference. Correctly and in a very accurate manner you have to speak up the word. Then speaking with correct intonations and emotions means wherever it is required, the different pitch or the, we can say, the voice modulation you have to do accordingly, according to the need. Then speaking persuasively while building an argument, and then while you are just doing an argument, so you need to speak in this manner or speak in that manner that you are trying to pursue the person, and trying to convince them. In this way you have to speak up, or you have to present your ideas or viewpoint. Clear? So these were some of the sub skills based on your speaking skills we have discussed. Now the next exercise is given here based on the same. Let's practice speaking. You have to work in pairs and elicit information from your partners. Means two students are going to continue with this activity and you have to infer or grab the information from your partner. Then introduce him or her to the class, and after that, after getting to know about that, you have to introduce him or her to the whole class. So first step for this activity, what it requires, the teacher should give each student a blank identity card, and then she needs to divide the class into pairs. So blank identity card will be given to each and every student, and then the class will be divided into pair. Second step, students should work in pairs and fill identity card with the details of their partner. Now, what is required on the part of the student? As a participant, they have to fill that identity card by writing the details of their partner in the activity. Clear? All the details they will mention, and the partner is going to do the same thing. Then students should then introduce their partners using the identity card as memory aid. So that information that they have written on the identity card is going to be the tool or the memory aid for them, which will help them to introduce their partner of the activity. Through the different words they have described there, through that they are going to introduce their partner to the whole class, mentioning about their name, including all the things related to their different characteristics or other things included or required. This way they are supposed to be introduced to the whole class. Here they have given the sample of that identity card which will be provided by the teacher, or even the student can prepare on their own based on the instructions given by the teacher. The name must be there, then address, space must be given over there. Hobbies, you have to mention about the favorite food of your friend, and then dream vacation. So all these details, and with the help of this, actually what we are doing here, we are showing our speaking skills. So now your presentation is going to be there. Here your presentation will be there, that how you are going to present someone to others. So your skills will be revealed, that in what different manner, the way you did the pronunciation, the way you presented the different ideas or the particular person in front of all is going to create the difference. So this is the activity based on your speaking skills. Here based on the same, they have asked you, in a group of 4, enact a situation that realistically depicts one of the problems faced by young people today. Peer pressure. So what they have asked you, now they have given you one situation and it is sort of role play. Role play activity is going to be there, where you just have to depict one of the problem the young people are facing nowadays. That is peer pressure. Means from everywhere we have pressure to do something or do in a very well manner or better than the others, which is creating the tension or the sort of conflicts within us, within the people. So we need to discuss over here only. Step 1. So what is required on the part of teacher and what the students are going to follow. So we have to do that. According to step 1, the teacher should divide the class into group of 4 and give each group the same set of roll cards. Clear? The teacher is going to divide the whole class in the group of 4. And then each group, what they will do, they will set roll cards, and that roll cards will be given to the students. In the second step, if we talk about, the students should distribute the roles in each of their groups, and now these roles are going to be distributed among them. They can then discuss briefly some points that they will touch upon in the role play. So they will decide, the group as a team, they have to work and they have to decide that who is going to play the role of which particular character, what they are going to speak up, how they are going to present, what different ways they are going to, or the strategies they are going to use to give the presentation. Clear? Then step 3. Before beginning, the teacher should highlight that enacting real life situations can give them insight as to how to deal with the problem. So before the beginning, when they would be ready to start with this activity, the teacher will let you know that how you have to take up the situation from your real life, because it happens when we are doing the role play. Sometimes it is going to help us in our life, in reality, in a natural way, that how we are going to deal with the different problems, how we are going to face the real situation. So that role play activity is a very practical activity which can help you out in that way. So all these steps are to be followed, and this way you have to give your presentation. Here we can see the sample roll card are shown. This is one of the sample. It's up to you, whatever the way the teacher is asking you to do that way you can follow. Otherwise you can follow these samples given here. For example, the role 1. What is the role 1? A student who has developed bad habits like missing school. So you have to present yourself. You have to give your presentation as the one who is having the same bad habit of missing school. That what are going to be your dialogues, what kind of behavior or the attitude you are going to show. Second role play is of an elderly person who is concerned about the young student. So here you have to present yourself as an elderly person, where you are very much concerned and you are bothered that how today's youth are just distracting from their path. So all the dialogues related to that you have to prepare, you have to keep in your mind, and then you have to present yourself. The third role is going to be of a college going student whose school friends led him astray. Astray means is not able to get the right direction, not able to find right direction, and somewhere you are not able to clear with the future, that what you are going to achieve in your future and what is going to be your next step. Like somewhere the impact of school friends are there on you, and that way you have to represent yourself in the role play activity. The fourth one, another young person who is bad influence on first student. So here you are going to be connected with this one, because first one was who has developed bad habit like missing school, and here you are also a young person who is bad influence on the first student, and here somewhere you have given the impression to that first student, or he is somewhere influenced by you. So these four roles are assigned to the students, and accordingly they have to present themselves. What kind of sort of the we can say the one act play they can prepare here, one act presentation they can prepare, that how they are going to deal with the different real life situations. If something like that happening, if somebody is having any sort of bad habit or involving in that habit, so how you have to react, and what the another concerned person, if they are present in the society, how they are going to deal with that. So all these things you have to keep in your mind, and then you have to represent yourself. So hopefully this exercise or the activity that we have taken is clear to each and everyone. Now we are moving to the exercise based on the same.